I'm Kevin Lee, and let's queer up politics. Zohran Mamdani makes history as New York City's first socialist mayor and LGBTQ+ ally. It's official, Zohran Mamdani has been elected as the next mayor of New York City, making history as a progressive voice and longtime LGBTQ+ ally. The 34-year-old Democratic Socialist defeated former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican nominee Curtis Sliwa after a grassroots campaign driven by young voters. The Associated Press called the election in Mamdani's favor shortly after 9:30 p.m. Tuesday. Mamdani's platform focused on affordability and equality, from free buses and universal childcare to rent-frees and city-owned grocery stores. His promises to LGBTQ+ New Yorkers include expanding gender-affirming care with a $65 million investment, creating an Office of LGBTQIA+ Affairs, and strengthening sanctuary protections for queer and trans residents. As a state representative, Mamdani backed the repeal of the Walking While Trans law, co-sponsored the Gender Recognition Act, and voted for New York's SHIELD law protecting access to gender-affirming care. The big question on yesterday's election is, what does New York City mayor and elections in Virginia, New Jersey, and California forecast for next fall's vitally important midterm elections? Well, interesting story. I see a little bit of kindness in the world showing up, right? A little bit of positivity. Yeah. I'm very happy. I like when people shake things up. You know, I may be from Texas, I may be white, but let me tell you, I like when the good old boys get shaken up, and this gentleman is so diverse. That's what I love about this story. Yeah. He comes from, if I'm not mistaken, is it India?
Okay, so
his mother's Hindu.
Right.
He identifies as Muslim.
Yes.
And
he lived in Uganda.
That's where it was.
As a young child.
Kid,
yes.
Before Idi Amin ousted all the South Asian
people. Girl, you know your Wikipedia, okay?
Oh, yeah.
What's her history, too? So
I love it. I love it. But you know what's interesting is that this gentleman has served on a state level, city level. This gentleman is for the people. I love the fact that he is just so different. He's just like I said earlier, winter, people keep saying winter's coming with this guy coming into office. Yeah. But you know what? For me, he's like a breath of fresh air. He's spring to me.
Yeah.
Because he is literally an example of the youth. He literally is the youth. He's 34 years old.
34 years old.
He is the next generation of politicians, of spiritual leaders.
Yeah.
You know, in many ways, he is a spiritual leader, right?
Yeah.
Because he's willing to connect with multiple religions, he's willing to go and represent communities that aren't typically represented in political fights and in political elections. So I just celebrate this guy.
And the grassroots folks need a win.
Yes.
Right? They haven't had a win for a long time. So to have a grassroots organization get this guy elected, we can look across the country at grassroots organizations and say, okay, there's a win. Let's get back to work.
Exactly. Well, and that's kind of what we said at this table when Trump took office, was that grassroots need to reinvent themselves, right? We have to go back to knocking on the doors and hitting the pavement. And that's basically what he did, right? Like Sunday night, he was at Papi Chulo. He was at gay bars. So 1 in the morning, he was in Brooklyn hanging out with the hip hop kids. Like, he was all over, right? And he wants that to happen. He wants you to feel seen, right? All of a sudden. But it's like, you know, and people are like, well, but why would you support a socialist? Because he's not a sex offender like Cuomo.
Right.
How about that? I mean, like, one thing, like, I don't need much more than that, you know? He did a beautiful video representing from the peers, right? Talking about Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson. No one even looked at our transgender history as history, right? And he's there saying, I know this happened here. I know Marsha P. got killed here where she would work here. And I would love to have an office that represents all of the folks that are two-spirited, LGBTQIA+, right? And he's going to bring that to life.
And I think they use that whole socialist thing as a scare tactic, because every society, you know, you can disagree with me, but I think all societies need socialist programs, because the fact is life is not an equal playing field.
Not anymore. It's not.
No, it's not. So you have people that for whatever reason need help.
Yep.
Okay, and so I think they just use that. But I absolutely feel, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I get such a caring and loving vibe from him. And I feel like he truly cares about the poor and the middle class. I feel like he's trying his best to be inclusive.
Right.
Last night, during his acceptance speech, he said, "This is for the abuelas, and you know, and this is for the Somalian cab drivers, and you know, and this is for the Trinidadian aunties." And he said, "And the transgender people." He talked about the Jewish people and how, you know, he wants to really stand up against anti-Semitism. He talked about Islamophobia, and he said also transphobia, because he talked about how our community, we deal with a lot of discrimination. So who has stood up and said that stuff in recent times?
You can count them in one hand.
Yeah.
We needed that.
So I know he's married.
She's beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
We're
she
talking
is.
about the first lady. She is really pretty.
Beautiful. But I know he's married, but listen, I can still have a crush. And when he said shout out to the trans people, I was like, oh my God, I love him.
Raji was like, shout out back, boo. So honestly, if fighting for rent freezes and trans rights makes you a socialist, then baby, pour me a red mocktail and call me Comrade Faye.
Hello.
All right, because I am here for it. Like, you know, like I was telling Ty before the show, New York is that place that once a New Yorker, you're always a New Yorker. If your license ever had New York on it, then you just left a piece of yourself there. I mean, it just is how it is, right? And like, just to, like you said, he's calling out people that are not usually felt seen.
Exactly.
These people can see themselves in him. Communities are recognized by him just standing up and being positive. How does he salute people? What's he doing?
Oh, yes.
Oh, and this is what I absolutely love about him. Oh, I have a crush. Anyway, when he's trying to show people like respect and love, and he'll wave, and then he'll take his hand and like that. Pat his heart.
I can do that.
And he does it. Look at the videos. You might not believe me, but look at those videos. He's always doing it. He's always touching his heart.
Amazing.
Like, you know, my love to you. My love to you all. Yes.
Yeah. No, and he just seems so considerate, respectful, and appreciative, right?
Yes.
One last thing, right? Authentic. Thank you. Right. And isn't that all we're trying to be in our community, is just be who we really are? And he's being able to do that. Right?
And I loved how he said, we beat the, I think he said the empire, the corruptive empire, and like, it was like, you know, because by the way, Trump did say if he wins, I don't know if you all heard this, that he was going to stop federal funding to New York.
Yes, I heard that.
And he was like, you know, in other words.
We will see. We will see. Again, also Ron DeSantis says now with his win, we're going to get most of the outpour of people coming down here to Florida, right? So, I mean, again, you know, let's just see whatever it is will be, but it gives us hope.
And he's not anti-Semitic. Stop. People keep saying that. He's not. Just because you stand with the people of Palestine doesn't mean that you're anti-Jew.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
You can have compassion for both.
And we have had Jewish people at this table say just that.
Yes.
You know, so it's sad that unfortunately he's automatically like, you know, like the email I was telling you folks before the show that, you know, I get bad comments. I get hate mail. I don't care. Keep sending it. I enjoy it. It's funny as shit. But I've never had something like, you know, when I posted my happiness about his victory, about hope, about the future, about what this could look like, right? I got awful hate mail back, and from people saying things like, he really wants you dead, you know? And I've never, like, I've never experienced something like that before, right? So I was kind of taken aback, but instead of being sad about it, it just made me think that this guy's got so much power, and these people are so afraid that it takes this to happen. So keep it coming, and like I said, Comrade Faye. That's me. Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.